Hey everyone, I am the Chosen One Legend here, as always joined by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Kai, also known as Vascarine.
And welcome back to our podcast, BunchaJokahs, where we talk all Nintendo news of the past month. And two words for you, Kai. Nintendo Direct.
Those are two words that I like to hear in conjunction with each other, so...
Two words we have not heard in a long, long time, but...
Apart from the sentences
finally.
where we say, there's not been a Pokemon Direct or a Nintendo Direct or anything in so long. So,
there's like the Twitter accounts are like counting down the days, but after like a year and a bit, we finally got it. This is actually the first one we're getting to cover on the podcast. Even the mini Direct was before we started. So we have a lot here to talk about. So whether you're here for you've been here from the start, or you might have come here based on the interview we did with Sky, welcome. We just like to talk all about Nintendo, and we have two different segments, both Rhyme themed. Always Rhyme time here, isn't it, Kai?
Of course it is.
But yeah, we'll just crack on then if you're ready, Kai.
Yeah, let's get into it.
And I should mention there will be timestamps in the description below, so if you want to hop around different sections, you can do that. But let's kick things off with our first segment of the podcast. Can't have a podcast without news, baby, where we talk about the past month of Nintendo news and a few other bits of gaming news too. And before we get to the big boy, the Direct, we have some smaller stuff to talk about. One thing that's kind of interesting is that throughout the month we've seen a sort of onslaught of different ports coming to the Switch. Three noticeable ones that I picked out are Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, which has come in March 12th, Star Wars Republic Commando come in April 6th, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 come in at some time this year. So that's a nice variety of ports. Kai, do any of these interest you?
Probably won't pick up any myself, but it's nice to see Crash Bandicoot on the Switch. Crash is still quite a popular series even to this day, so it's nice to see that there. And Tony Hawk.
People want him in Smash.
Yeah, people do want him in Smash. Who knows what could happen in the future? And
they're always good.
Yeah, Tony Hawk is also nice to see there. Tony Hawk Pro Skater is of course a classic, so yeah, it's nice to see that on the Switch too.
Yeah, like you say, it's just good to see games continuously coming to the Switch. I probably won't pick up Tony Hawk, that's not my kind of thing really, but that's a great get. Star Wars Republic Commando, I have it on Steam, but I'm terrible at gaming on my laptop, so I'll probably pick it up here and actually finish it. And Crash Bandicoot, I mean, I'm a platformer fan. I should have tried this series by now, but I haven't. So this, as Crash 4 is called, it's about time. So I need to pick up Insane Trilogy first and try these out. I am a little concerned that they are, especially the earlier ones, known for some unfair difficulty. So I might have to tape my controller to my hand or something just to stay back the rage. But I definitely need to try it out at some point. But moving on to film news, actually, because we found out that Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the next film, is coming out April 2022. Kai, you looking forward to this?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. We actually both went and watched the first film at the same time, and
yeah, in London.
Yeah, and it was really good. A lot of video game movies in the past have really sort of missed the mark. And this movie, Sonic the Hedgehog, the first film, almost did with its design, but yeah, they actually, sort of got everything together and they made it a really good film. So I'm looking forward to the sequel.
Meow. Iconic. Yeah, I'm with you there. I thought it was a really good fun film, and I do think it was maybe held back by a few things, like the sort of the real world aspect to it. It sort of felt like, in some ways, this generic CGI character comes to real world, meets up with human who becomes their friend. We've seen that done quite a few times. And it was one of the better versions of that film, but it did hold it back from being great, I think. But the stuff that they teased at the end of the movie with like Eggman going full on crazy, the other worlds, Tails, which we've seen in the logo of this Sonic 2, they're setting up a film that could be even better, I think. So I am excited to see how this turns out.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of hype surrounding it, I'm sure. Really looking forward to seeing Yeah. There's going to be I feel like there's going to be a lot more world building on the Sonic side of things.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of interested to see how they're going to expand on that. Maybe like who's going to be the antagonist? Is it going to be Eggman again? Because I wouldn't be complaining.
No, Kai, they're bringing in Zarvok or whoever it is from Sonic Lost World. That's going to be the new villain. Could you imagine?
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. We never really know until it comes out. So, but yeah, looking forward to it. A lot of potential.
Definitely. Maybe we can actually go see the next one together by 2022. Maybe we'll be able to leave the house. Hopefully. Let's be optimistic. But now, let us move on to the big guns, because we did get a Nintendo Direct. And there's a lot of content in here. We're just going to skim over some highlights or things that stood out to us. And do feel free to add anything if I'm missing anything you want to cover, Kai. But before we get into it, just overall thoughts, how did you find the Direct?
Oh, it's so good to see it back, and I maybe this is just me speaking on behalf of the fact we haven't got one in so long, but it felt like it really shone, like compared to the other directs we used to have. This one seems like it was up there with some of the best, so really nice to see.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, there's sort of two parts of me. There's the more slightly objective part, which I'm like, that's a solid 8 out of 10 Direct. There's a good variety of games in there for different gamers. Good pacing, some big surprises. Yeah, great Direct. Then there's the other part of me, which is like, holy crap, 100 out of 10, Pyra and Mythra and Smash, Skyward Sword, freaking out. I mean, we did a reaction video, which is on the channel, just sort of the highlights of our reactions, so you can see that all there, but let's start off with how they started off. Pyra and Mythra in Smash. Hot damn. What do we even say?
Well, we've sort of been involved with a little bit of that sort of thing before. We had the Smash Bros gameplay we released already. We did the interview with Sky, which was crazy good timing, and
accidental. We should
accidental,
say. Completely
completely accidental. But the people don't need to know that.
They don't.
So yeah, it's been really good to see that all that sort of has come together at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret, given our channel name, and if you've watched just 5 minutes of one of our videos, that we love Xenoblade. So, and we, like I said in our interview with Sky, we only started this podcast because we met through Sky streams of the game. So, Xenoblade 2 has meant a lot to us, and to see Pyra and Mythra get into Smash, it's just insane. It's literally the only characters I've really wanted in Smash. There's been a few I've been like, yeah, they would be cool, but never been this hyped for any character. And we actually, just an hour before we were recording this, Sakurai did a Presents, sort of going into more detail about them. I mean, they'll be out and playable by the time this podcast is out, but now that we've seen a bit more detail of like the music and the stage and their moveset, have any extra thoughts on that, Kai?
I'm really interested with the way they did it, actually. The way that they made Pyra the stronger character and Mythra was quicker, because it makes sense considering, Mythra's got a lot of emphasis on her speed and that sort of thing. But it's still a little strange to me, because in the games, Mythra is basically just stronger than Pyra in both strength and speed in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, it's basically a balancing thing, because you can't have one being objectively better than the other one in Smash.
Yeah.
So
it's
it
fair,
makes sense,
and I'm
but it
kind
is a
of
little
cool
different.
with the way they did it. The different movesets are really cool. They seem really strong. Might pick Pyra up as a main because she seems quite similar in playstyle to Bowser, strangely enough. I'm really down for these characters, yeah.
I've seen some comparisons to Ganondorf and Pyra with her Smash attacks, and I can see it.
Doria!
Absolute powerhouse. We need to... I wonder if Sky would say Doria on a stream now. That's next in line. But yeah, they do look great, and I'm just very excited to play for them for ourselves. We'll have to... Next month's podcast, we'll talk a bit about our thoughts on how they play, of course, but I don't care if they play like trash, I'm still maining them. It's...
Yeah, straight up.
Has to happen. But another highlight from the Direct was Project Triangle Strategy. It's sort of another game by the team that made Octopath, but a tactical RPG along the lines of Fire Emblem, or if you're more knowledgeable than me, Final Fantasy Tactics. So what do you think of that, Kai? I'm guessing you haven't got to try the demo yet.
No, I will be trying it out on my Twitch channel soon enough. Probably in like a month or two, I'll be giving it a go.
Yeah.
But
Link in
I'm
the
really
description below.
yeah, go check all that out. But I'm really looking forward to playing it when I do get around to it. The gameplay seems quite intuitive. Seems really interesting. The different sort of altitudes that you fight at and how they can give you advantages. Overall, it just seems really clean, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it has to offer.
Yeah, I've got to try out the demo, and I won't say too much. Of course, I won't say anything to spoil you or anyone else. But I think it is definitely quite good. It does definitely have some problems. So it's good that they're doing the whole survey system, and it's coming out next year. I mean, we saw with Bravely Default 2 that they did a good job of adapting things from the feedback.
Yeah, true.
But some things I did like about it, I'll say, is for a start, the visuals and music. You expect that to be great, it is. But also, partly the sort of alignment system where you can persuade your team on how to make a big decision is very clever. And the combat, if you're used to Fire Emblem, it's quite different to that. It's less these expansive battles, but it's in this like more contained space. And you have a bit more to play around with in that space to how you strategize.
Nice.
So, for example, there's almost a... I don't want to say Breath of the Wild, but you know how Breath of the Wild has that ability where you can tackle things in all sorts of crazy solutions and ways?
Yes.
It kind of has an element of that to it with how unique some moves are. For example, there's a teammate who uses ice magic, and he can create these 3 ice blocks, which are a bit of an obstacle to any enemies. And what I did, there were these 3 enemies who spawned in this little corner. I used an ice block, I used that spell to completely block their path so they couldn't join the fight. And whilst I was tackling with the other guys, I just had this one ice guy staying in the same spot, repeatedly making this barrier appear so they could not leave until I was ready to deal with them. So you can do some crazy creative stuff, and I did love that. There's some problems with like the UI is a bit complicated and a bit small, and sometimes gets in the way a little bit. And yeah, the pacing's a little bit off with so much dialogue heavy with not a lot happening visually. So there's definitely ways they can tweak it and fix it, but I'm excited to play it, and I think if you enjoy this kind of game, you are not going to be disappointed. So looking forward to seeing you stream it. Dog, why?
The dog wants to play triangle strategy. I think that's what it's telling
Don't
you.
we all? But yeah, so the next sort of thing in the Direct, which is something I've mentioned on this channel before, and I'm hyped about, Skyward Sword HD, coming to the Switch July 16th. Kai, what are your thoughts on this?
I have never played Skyward Sword. I've seen Chococonro's playthrough of it, so I have like a rough idea, but it seems cool that it's coming to Switch. I like how they have a different sort of button mapping for it that you can also switch to if you don't like motion controls. The motion controls themselves should be improved because you have the Joy-Cons. It looks great overall, really interesting.
Yeah, like I said, if this was just a straight port with nothing changed, I would have paid £100 for this because I'm a sucker for this game. I'm just a sucker, I'll admit it. It's tied for my favourite Zelda game with Breath of the Wild. 2 completely different kinds of games, but that's why I love it so much and why I love both of them. And, just seeing it up-res, even if it's not like a huge graphical upgrade, I don't think it needs one. It still looks great. And I'm interested to see... Yeah, and I'm interested to see if they've made some gameplay tweaks like they did for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I know some people had problems with the imprisoned fights being repetitive, which I can understand. So there's ways they can streamline it, and it'll be interesting to see if they do those. But I'm just so excited that for once I can stop putting off my replay of the game because it might come out in the remake. So I haven't been able to play the Wii version for ages because it might come out in the remake. And July, at last. Very, very excited to play that. And Kai, I'm going to keep bugging you to play this on stream. I
will say, I'm a little bit concerned about the price tag of it if it's still like a full priced game.
It's
with,
£50.
Yeah, £50,
yeah.
and there's not been like many changes. I don't know how I feel about that exactly, but you know, it might not.
Yeah.
It might be worth it. We don't know if there's like more to look at. So
That's true. I do understand that is definitely pushing it a little bit. I think some people online are somewhat exaggerating, but I definitely agree it is. It does seem like a lot, so I can understand the trepidation there. Hopefully there's some more content to it. But even just adding button controls is a huge deal, and 60 frames per second as well. I never noticed that, but I know some people are big on frames, so...
yeah.
But yeah, I'm very hyped for that. There are two of my big wants, Pyra in Smash and Skyward Sword, so that was already a solid direct for me.
Yeah,
but then they say, no, we've got one more thing. Splatoon 3 out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Who was expecting that?
Not me. It was crazy.
No.
Even as we were getting shown it, I thought it was some sort of DLC or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's the only reason I thought it might be Splatoon 3 straight away was just based on hearing some people talk about the chaos thing. And the moment I saw the sort of desert wasteland, I was like, oh, this is chaos, isn't it? But I love that Splatoon does that they have this continuity between their games affected by the players. That's crazy.
And it's a weird one because I through the direct, like when we were seeing that, I was saying like, nah, it's way too early for Splatoon 3, way too early. I forget that Splatoon 2's been out for like, what, 3 years at this point?
It came out the launch year, didn't it? So nearly 4.
Oh, was it? Oh, 4 years then almost, yeah. And
nearly 4, yeah.
And
it's the...
it only came out, what was it, like 2 years after Splatoon 1 or 3 years? Like, not that many, so...
It was a 2-year gap, which is crazy.
Yeah, I really hope they innovate is the main thing here, though. I really hope that they sort of do lots of new things with it, because it's on the same console as Splatoon 2, so I hope that they do make some big improvements that really make it worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, I played Splatoon 1, and I missed out on Splatoon 2, mostly because I'm not that much into online multiplayer gaming, so even though I've heard that the DLC single player is really good for Splatoon 2. But now that since Splatoon 2 came out, I've met a lot of online friends through different communities, so I have more people I could play it with. So I think I might...
You don't like playing online multiplayer games with other people. Trying is cancelled, guys. We're not doing any more episodes.
It's done. That's it. I'm deleting the Smash video, the Trine series. It's all getting off the channel
First
right now.
Sam, now you.
It's just going to be BunchaJokahs. It's just you, Kai.
True.
But yeah, I want to try out Splatoon 3. I think there's going to be a lot of hype with that when it launches, and just like Animal Crossing, I think part of that was getting it at the time it came out in those first few months. I think it's going to be a similar thing here. So 22 is looking good with triangle strategy, and as we'll see later, Pokemon. In fact, shall we move on to Pokemon now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it, because just a few days afterwards, or a week afterwards, I've lost track of time, I've got to be honest with you, but they had a Pokemon Direct where they showed off some more Pokemon Snap, which continues to look great. I don't think we need to dwell on that though, because the first new game is, as you predicted, Sinnoh Remakes, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, coming out the end of 2021. It looks divisive. What do you think, Kai?
I think the concept of having the remakes finally come out, I'm cool with it. It's been a long time coming. The art style is the main thing everyone's been talking about. To check, like, you're not too into all your Pokemon stuff, are you? Like, you're not one of the people who buys all the games.
I'm not, but Sinnoh was actually the first region I played, so I do have a bit more of a connection to this region, but I'm not a massive Pokemon fan, yeah.
Okay, yeah, the main thing I've seen people talking about is the art style, which was the biggest thing for me too. And my personal view is I'm not a huge fan of it because I really don't like the chibi art style. I'm not sure why I don't, but I just despise it. However, from an objective standpoint... Oh God. From an objective standpoint, where I see, like, they're trying to remake the original graphics but in higher definition, and it's kind of gone for that Link's Awakening Switch sort of style. I think it's good. I think from an objective standpoint, leaving my personal opinion out of it, I think it does make good sense, and I'm kind of cool with that. So
the impression, I think the art style pretty much sums up what we're seeing of the game in general, which it looks like a very faithful adaptation. They're not adding stuff from the newer gens to increase variety. They're just giving you a solid, maybe they will. We haven't seen too much. There could be more to it, but they're just giving you exactly what the original game would look like if it was in higher quality 3D. Some people are going to love that. Some people, I personally, and I'm not a Pokemon fan, I might not get this anyway, but I probably would have been more interested if it included some more modern stuff, like maybe Pokemon roaming the world rather than random encounters, like in Let's Go or the Wild area. So I would have preferred some updates myself, but you can't deny how fitting it is. That it is just 1-to-1, the art style of the original, the pixels translated. So it's cute.
From what I've seen, it seems like it's a very, I think safe is the way to put it. It's a very safe game that they've made. The graphics are pretty much remade to be like the original. It doesn't look like they're going to be adding in many new innovative and sort of things from recent series like Dynamaxing. I doubt will be in there. And for some people, as you said, that's going to be great for them because they don't like all these new additions or they like it being traditional. Some people are going to miss the innovation. However, if you want innovation in a Pokemon game, I guess we just have to look at the other one that they announced. So
that is a perfect segue because they, I think they were very clever in how they announced both, because I think if it was just the Diamond and Pearl remakes like this, people would have been a bit on the fence.
Yeah. But
the Diamond and Pearl remakes are actually being made by a different company with Game Freak overseeing, I think. Mm-hmm. But what Game Freak are putting all their Poke balls into... No, that sounds weird. I'm gonna... But what Game Freak are putting all their money on is Legends Arceus. I always want to say Arceus, but it's not. It's Arceus. Mm-hmm. An open-world Pokemon game. Yep. That's a concept people are hyped for. What about you, Kai?
I'm really intrigued by this. We haven't seen too much yet, so I'm not going to make any big calls about it. But it looks like it has the potential to either be complete shambles, or what I'm hoping for is it looks like it could turn out to be one of the best Pokemon games ever made, and a really good step in, a really good direction step for Game Freak. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We will. I mean, people are very excited for it, and Ross, I don't want to ever say no, you shouldn't be excited for this, you shouldn't be hyped, but I do think people are more excited for the concept rather than what was actually shown off. So yes. Time will tell if they are able to pull it off, because even beyond the some problems visually and some of the Pokemon moving like a PowerPoint presentation in the footage, even beyond that, making an open world game and making it fun, it's not as easy as just saying Pokemon's open world now. There's a lot that goes into it. Exactly. And there's so many ways it can be boring. And I really hope that it isn't. I hope they pull it off. I'm cautiously optimistic, let's say. We got till 2022, early 2022, which I feel like that may be a bit soon, but you never know. Hopefully they can pull it off, because if they can, if this is Pokemon's, and I know this comparison's been overdone, but if this is Pokemon's Breath of the Wild, it's going to sell like crazy. I mean, people are going to love it. It could
turn out to be amazing, and I think a lot of the hype stems from it being the concept and the potential that it has, rather than what's actually happening, because we haven't seen too much. I think the two main things that people have seen that we're excited about is the more dynamic battling, because the Pokemon actually move up to each other and attack, which is much better than Sword and Shield, and you can do a dive roll, which is sick. It looks mainly just like it has a lot of potential to be had, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. Really excited to probably buy it and use Rowlet as my starter.
You're just gonna see you're gonna see the Pokemon trainer just do a backflip and do a flurry rush, just throw loads of Pokeballs out.
Imagine.
Rapid fire.
That'd be amazing.
But yeah, this definitely interests me. I'm not a big fan of things like random encounters, some traditional gameplay things. So if this is being more of expansive open world kind of Pokemon game, this definitely could be a game that appeals to me more. So, like I said, I need to see more on it. We need to see what Game Freak show off and how well it looks in the end. And who knows, maybe it'll look better. We won't really talk much on this, but there have been Switch Pro rumours heavily at the moment, so
We'll see.
maybe that's what they're counting on. Time will tell. But that is it for the Nintendo news. But I do want to touch upon a bit of Sony news, actually. They had their own sort of state of play, I believe it's called. They're not direct, basically. But the big thing from their state of play at the end was Final Fantasy VII is getting an upgrade to PS5, along with a new expansion focused on Yuffie, one of the optional characters from the main game. And I know, Kai, you haven't played much Final Fantasy VII, or any Final Fantasy VII, but I've just been getting into the original game, so I've got Yuffie on my team. I'm excited to get this. Whenever PS5 becomes available, which is probably 2022.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited for this. That they're adding more to it. Do you have any interest in getting this, Kai? I know it's coming for free on PSN, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I was going to say that for I think it's PlayStation Plus, or something, the
right.
online for PlayStation 4. They have got Final Fantasy VII Remake as one of the free games for this month. I have no idea why they would do that, because it's such an expensive and popular game still. But they did it, so I'm really looking forward to, in the near future, playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then hopefully that will build up my hype for this extra stuff. We'll have to wait and see.
I think I see the strategy in this, because although you can have a free upgrade from your PS4 version to the PS5 version, I don't believe... that doesn't work if you got it for free. That won't work. So, and the Yuffie expansion is only for the PS5. So basically, if you get this for free, you like it, but you want the Yuffie expansion, you have to buy a new copy on the PS5. So I guess that's what they're counting on. And to be honest, I don't even care if it gets more people playing it. That's good.
I was going to say, from my perspective, I'm just getting a really good game for free. For now, that's it. Where's the complaint?
Can't complain there at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to see they're adding to this game. I've been loving playing through the original. And that is probably we're getting these perfect segues today. Look at that. That is the perfect time to move on to our next segment and final segment of the podcast, which I haven't written it down here. What's the name of it? Games time, baby. That's it. I should remember this. I've done it 10 times now. We've been doing this 10 months. But but this is where we talk about just the games that we've been playing over the past month. And Kai, do you want to start things off? What have you been playing?
So I played a game last month that's actually Pokemon related as well, funnily enough. I was playing Pokemon White 2. It's a game I've had, and I've played through most of the game, so as in gotten past the 8th gym and everything, 3 or 4 times, but I'd never beaten it. And I was like, why have I not beaten this game? It's it's often regarded as, Black and White 2 being one of the best games in the Pokemon series. So I was like, what, screw it, I'll go through and I'll do a full run of it. So I did. I had a full team. My Pokemon were... I did have an Oshawott, which I ditched, because I had another plan for my team. I had a Lucario, Volcarona, Haxorus, Arcanine, Zoroark and Crocodile. So, mainly a Gen 5 based team. And it was really fun. I do like playing through this game. I really enjoyed playing through sort of all of it. I will say I was underleveled for most of the game by choice, so it proved quite a good challenge for me. Unfortunately, White 2 doesn't have a hard mode, it only has an easy mode once you beat it, so I had to sort of implement a self-challenge in there for myself. But it's been really good, and I'm currently working through the post-game, doing things like the Pokemon World Tournament, all that good stuff. So yeah, it's been really fun.
Some people complain about games like Xenoblade 2 and Zelda for locking harder modes behind DLC, but you can't get as stupid as Pokemon White 2 and Black 2 and the way they handle it, can you? So
it was a little odd, but at least there are different difficulties. It's a step up from what we have currently. So
that's true. Yeah, I've actually the few Pokemon games I have played, I've played Pokemon Diamond, Pokemon Black, and Pokemon Y. I didn't get Black 2 or White 2, so I've never. And I haven't even. Most Pokemon games I haven't played, I've watched Chugga Conroy play them, but he hasn't got that far yet, so I don't know much about them. But maybe one day. I heard people love them. People love Gen 5?
Gen 5. Gen 5,
yes.
Yeah, Black and White
count.
2 are interesting because it's similar-ish to Black and White 1, but they have much more Pokemon than just the Gen 5 cast. A couple of different areas you go to are different. A couple of the different sort of ways you play through the area are different. It's nice. It's a nice spin on what they originally had on you're going through the same region but kind of in a different order with different experiences.
Right. That's a cool way of doing it. I think that's it's a nice alternative to the sort of typical make a third version that they used to do, and they've sort of even expanded upon that. Now they've got they did DLC instead for Pokemon Sword and Shield. I think they're better ways of doing it.
Yeah, I would argue it's one of the best Pokemon sequel games, if you will, that we've had because, as you say, all the third games don't really add too much apart from a little bit extra. And even ones like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, you still played through the game in pretty much the same way. There were some differences, but Black and White 2 were the most unique in the way that they changed the world. So, I feel like they're really enjoyable games. Really good traditional ones to get into, in a sense.
Yeah, I like the idea of revisiting a region, kind of like they're doing with Sinnoh for Arceus, but in a completely different way. It's a prequel.
Yeah.
Long ago prequel, but it's a cool idea to do that. I should try them out someday. I should try out more Pokemon in general someday. You know how it is, time. So many games. But I guess for what I've been playing is I don't have much interesting to say here. I've just been continuing to play through Final Fantasy VII gradually. Nice. And you know what? It's still great. I've left Midgar now. I'm out in the open world. I think I'm near the end. But I did say last time I was a little nervous that I was surprised by how fair it was and how balanced it was. And I was wondering if that might change once I leave Midgar.
Yeah.
But honestly, there's been a few moments. There's definitely been a few. I can't deny it. But the few that there were, I was able to adapt to with the sort of the modern additions that these ports have of turning off random enemy encounters. But most of the time it's been pretty balanced and I haven't needed to even. I haven't used God mode at all because I'm just a pro gamer. I don't need that God mode, do I? No, it's just not too difficult. Thankfully, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not great at this game. I play it in probably the worst possible way, but it works. I'm getting through it. So I'm still continuing to have fun, and I'm excited now that I can join the sort of speculation of what's gonna happen. Now that Yuffie's coming to Remake, I'm like, I know her. I've seen some of her backstory. I understand it now. Cool. She's a little bit of a pain in the main game, her side quests, but I won't even go there. But
all right.
But still, it's So I can speculate on what they're going to do for part 2 whenever that comes out. So it's really interesting discovering the world of Final Fantasy VII. I need to try out some other games. There's a load of them on the Switch, but I've actually been. I will admit, and I won't really blame Final Fantasy for this or Final Fantasy VII. I have sort of got to that point you ever get to where you just sort of struggle to find the motivation to game at some points. You ever go through that sort of phase?
That's fair.
Yeah, I've sort of reached one of those. I think I've just got into the routine of I work at this time, then I finish, and I game at this time, and it sort of almost feels like work now that I've got into a routine of it. So I might need to take some breaks, but I'm sort of getting there. I'm approaching the end, and I'm looking forward to kicking Sephiroth's butt. It's like Smash Bros all over again, so it'll be perfect.
Oh dear.
And that's pretty much all I've been playing. I think that brings us to the end of the podcast. Pretty good time, Kai. How did we manage to condense that to 35 minutes?
Well, I think one of the main things, and it should be said, is that we didn't include everything that happened because we got so much revealed this month. And there's a lot that we didn't talk about, and we may talk about it in future podcasts or other types of videos. So if your favourite game that got announced this month or whatever didn't show up here, then don't worry, we might talk about it in the future. So
2-hour discussion on Mario Golf incoming. Am I right, guy?
maybe one day.
It looks good, to be fair. It looks decent.
It does look good.
But yeah, that pretty much brings us to the end of the podcast. So first of all, thank you, Kai, for talking with me once again.
Yeah, it's been good, man.
It's been great fun. And of course, a special thanks to my dog who's barking in the background at perfect timing. She just doesn't want to be left out, you know. Okay, I'm just going to leave it a little bit and then I'll cut this bit out. I don't even know what she's barking at this time.
Triangle strategy, you didn't talk about it.
Yeah, she's like, I want that Mario Golf discussion, I want it. Really wants that golf. I'm just going to do the outro now anyway. Okay. And of course, a massive thanks to Sam, our dog!
What? Sam's our dog? What?
He's my... No, I'm not even going to say that. You can picture it. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go on anyway. And a massive thanks to Sam, our graphic designer, for doing the thumbnails and all the graphics that you see in this video. And of course, a thank you to you for watching this video. We make lots more content as well as these monthly podcasts. We do different discussions on special topics. We've done interviews with Sky Bennett and Sean Chiplock. We do reaction videos. There's trying gameplay. There's something for everyone on here. So if you did enjoy this, please do give us a subscribe and check out some of our other content. There's lots of stuff on there, and we're also on Spotify and other podcasting sites for the audio versions. But that's it until next time. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next video.
See ya.
Goodbye.